This is Born Strategist, and this episode, I'm going to be talking about Evolve and what my impressions are thus far. Now, I've got an opportunity to play a little bit of this during the alpha and beta phases, and what I'm about to say is actually my subjective preference. This is not a review, nor is this an attempt to deter you from purchasing the game or experiencing the game for yourself. This is really all about my experiences, what I liked, and what I didn't like. And for the most part, there's a lot of dislikes here, but once again, this is my personal preference, and this has no bearing on the final project. Because the thing is, you gotta understand is that anytime a review is done, you have to be very objective. You can't let your personal opinion sway you into determining what the score of the final product should be. Because everyone's different, but it's always in the best interest of the consumer that they know the facts, not an opinion. Okay, but I'm going to tell you what my opinion of the game is thus far, and why I don't particularly care for it, and why I don't plan to purchase it when it comes out. And here's the thing, it's a great looking game. Visually, aesthetically, it's very impressive. It's 1080p HD, and I'm sure it runs at, I think, around 30 frames per second, maybe more. I couldn't really tell the difference, but I would have to go back and examine it. Aside from that, it is a decent game, and it's created by Turtle Rock Studios, who created Left 4 Dead. And you can see a lot of similarities there. With that said, it's not a great game, personally speaking. I don't see it being a game that you're going to want to spend $60 on unless you're like a hardcore Turtle Rock fan and you love all their games and you just couldn't go without them and you just want to play them all day, all night, every day of the week. I am not one of those people. Now, objectively, I will say this. It's a fine-tuned game, at least at the time of the beta. It seems to work very well. It has the graphics, as I said before. The sound is great. The gameplay is alright. The mechanics need a little bit of work. They're not the best thing ever. If you play Left 4 Dead, kind of expect to get a little bit of that. Granted, you do have the ability to jump and use your jump jets to boost you up real high and climb and do all these things, so you have a lot more movement when compared to Left 4 Dead. But nonetheless, I still wasn't impressed because it just didn't seem to have that feel that I personally would have liked. One of the things I don't particularly care for is the lack of customization. Granted, they have customization, but it wasn't on the degree that I personally would have liked. Once again, this is the subjective portion of the impressions video that I'm doing here. But objectively, it's a fine-tuned, polished product from what I've seen. There does appear to be a lack of variety and a story, but nonetheless, they still have a couple of game modes. Maybe they'll have more when it releases. I know that they're going to have. I think this is going to be like the fourth monster archetype. It's going to come out in the final product because I've seen some advertisement for it. It's kind of like this big giant rockish creature. You can find the trailer online, I'm sure. And the thing is that aside from that, I mean, I'm not really all that impressed. I was expecting more. Like I said before, the game looks great aesthetically, but it's missing something, and that's kind of the casual consensus, or the common consensus rather, is that it's okay, but it's not great. It's getting mediocre reviews. I mean, if I had to say what the community was talking about and what they would rate it based off of my experiences with them, I would say probably they would rate it like a 6 out of 10 averagely. At least out of the people that I've talked to. Granted, everyone's different. I'm sure there's people that'll probably rate like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 if they really loved it. But it's not something I could see myself playing for an extended period of time. Hell, I couldn't even see myself purchasing this game because I'm very picky about what I play. Granted, other people maybe not so much, and maybe they're kind of like a casual gamer and they want to hop into it and just play it and enjoy it and have fun. But this is all about multiplayer because it's a 4-man cooperative team of hunters versus a big giant fucking monster that's attempting to kill you, or you're attempting as the hunters to kill it, or there's some objectives that are put into play to where you have to defend like a factory or rescue civilians or something like that, from the creature. But I mean, it's great on paper, but I think it's missing a lot in terms of quality. Like, I mean, I see a lot of potential with it, but I don't think it realizes its potential. Granted, it's the first iteration of the game, so more is going to come if they sell enough copies and they can make an additional sequel. But I didn't like it as much as I should have, and that's the issue that I have. And it's kind of ironic because the game's titled Evolve, but it really doesn't seem to evolve beyond what Left 4 Dead had done. Don't get me wrong, I mean, it's a good game, but it's not something I personally would like to play in my free time. With that said, I can't say that this is something that most of you will like. As a matter of fact, I really don't think very many people will like it. It's probably a game that only a few of you are going to be able to play and enjoy playing. With that said, thanks for watching. And for more objective reviews, strategy guides, commentaries, and more, stay tuned to this channel.